Hello, friends, and welcome back to Dare Me to Prosper. My name is Avery, and I'm your host, and we're talking about the future. Specifically, if you are feeling doubtful, if you have lost hope, if you are just feeling insecure and worried about what is coming next. Are the things that I want actually going to happen? Is my future really going in the direction that I hope it's going in? Feeling doubt about being behind in life, or feeling insecure in a particular area of your life, wishing that you had more money, better health, a relationship you don't have, anything that is causing you to feel unsure and doubtful about where you're headed. This is a common theme in the collective right now, and there is a reason for it. So we're going to talk about the why this is happening, what it means for you personally, how this shows up as like a symptom or in your body and in your mind, and how to use this energy to actually move forward in life. Now, I just want to note that in the last few episodes, especially, we have really been talking about kind of the now, what's going on now, what's happening in the energy right now, collectively, what you might be feeling. That is purposeful because we are going through such a pivotal time right now energetically. There is a lot of difficult emotion going on. There's a lot coming to the surface. And so I'm really kind of using this time to validate and recognize what a lot of people are feeling. So I just wanted to fill you in. I'm not getting away from the topics of learning about a particular topic or a particular skill or what have you. Those episodes are evergreen and they will keep coming. But I just wanted to communicate to you why I am really focusing heavily right now on like what the hell is going on in the energy. Why do I feel this way? What is happening? I thought this was happening. Now this is happening. There's just so much emotion. There's so much detoxing. There's so much spiritual transformation happening right now. And many, many people in the collective need support during this transition because it's not easy. It can be exciting. It can be, you might feel really, really good right now. That's amazing. You might feel really, really upset or hopeless, or you might be really struggling right now. So wherever you are, I hope that these episodes lately and in the near future are going to help you move through this transitional period with the best possible mindset and tools that you can to make this time feel a little bit easier. Okay, so let's get into the episode. Just as a reminder, if you have listened to at least 2 of my episodes and enjoyed them, please leave a review. It's a really big help. I really appreciate it. And for a small podcast like this one, it makes a big difference. Okay, so if you've been here for a minute, you are familiar with the understanding that we have been going through this huge transitional moment. I say moment. It's really longer than a moment, and it's not over yet. 2026 in general is going to be a pivotal year for the collective, but this energy moving from 2025 to 2026 is particularly dense. There's a whole lot of spiritual detoxing happening and emotional transformation, emotional healing, getting clarity, like all of these things that ultimately are bringing you to the next level in your life, that are ultimately raising your frequency, they are raising your vibration, they are pushing you to the next stage of your life, especially if you are someone who has kind of been stuck in a particular area or kind of stuck in a particular place in your life for a long time, whether that's spiritually or emotionally or materially. This is the time where things start really pushing forward. And we talked about that in like the prediction episodes and the January prediction episode on the Patreon. It's kind of like we are in the Olympic training right now. Like we are in a really difficult part of our training where we are really being asked to dig deep and work on the things that we have been avoiding. It's also a time where our understanding of things is really shifting. And so that's what this episode is really going to be about, is shifting your understanding of what you are being asked to do, where the energy is headed. In my Patreon episode on January energy, I talked about how January is the month where the ball starts rolling in a particular area of your life, whether that is internal or external. The energy is now moving forward in a way that it was not in 2025. But regardless of how you personally are feeling, let me explain the energy of what's going on right now. As we are moving from Pluto in Capricorn to Pluto in Aquarius, this is the biggest energy shift astrologically that we are going through collectively is where Pluto is in the sky. Pluto is the planet of like life or death and immense deep transformation. And so when Pluto changes signs, it's like a really big deal. And again, we've talked about this before, but not in this exact context. So what Pluto in Aquarius is doing right now in relation to this energy that I'm talking about is dismantling old collective narratives and outdated ideas about the future. So a big reason that we may be struggling right now or just feeling doubt, maybe feeling confused, maybe feeling unclear about, this is what I want to do, but I don't really know how to get there, and I don't really know what I want, or I'm thinking through things, I'm figuring things out, What's happening in the background is the energy is stripping illusions and forcing clarity. So it is stripping us of kind of like the more fantasy ideals. It is stripping us from old scarcity beliefs. It is stripping from us anything that we believed that was really like an illusion and not actually the truth. And so right now, it's kind of like we are being injected with truth serum in a way. Like our eyes are being opened to know this was an illusion, this way of thinking, this way of expecting things in your life, this way of how you viewed yourself, this way, whatever it is. These were the illusions that you were holding on to, okay? This Pluto and Aquarius energy is now unveiling the truth to you in whatever way that is. And that can be hard if you were holding a lot of illusion around a topic. So say you had a lot of illusions around a relationship. Well, Pluto and Aquarius, this energy is going to now reveal the truth to you in a way that you cannot ignore anymore. And that could be good or it could be bad. It could be like you can't hide the truth of how toxic this relationship is anymore. There is no more fantasy. You can't just keep believing that this is going to get better. Or say like it's a more career thing. So maybe you were holding on to this fantasy belief of, this miracle is going to happen and something is just going to drop into my lap and, I don't have to actually move the needle forward to see any big growth in my career. You know what I mean? Like even if you didn't know you were carrying that, maybe there is some underlying belief or illusion that you've been carrying where the universe is now like, nope, we are clearing the fog and we're going to show you truth. You are going to now understand what needs to happen for you to go to the next level in your life. And so as the universe does this, as the fog starts to clear, this can make people feel really reflective, but also cautious, maybe emotionally flat. Like if there's just a lot being unveiled to you, everybody has a different reaction. Sometimes that might make you feel just really inquisitive and go inward. Some people might just feel overwhelmed. They kind of go flat, like, oh, I can't handle all this right now. But either way, we are being asked to recalibrate our understanding, to recalibrate our vision for our futures. We are being asked to align with what we actually want and what is actually possible in reality, not with illusion, not with fantasy, but in reality. And when I say fantasy, I don't mean realistic, right? I hate that word. I hate when people tell you to be realistic. You can absolutely dream big. You can and should want the things that your heart desires. You never need to settle or want less. When I say fantasy, I mean more like not believing that the things in your world will change without you engaging in them. Meaning like it's fantasy to believe that a relationship in your life is just going to heal and get better without you doing something, whether it's leaving that relationship or working on the relationship. Or fantasy is believing that you're going to be a millionaire and this is all going to take off just if you do the bare minimum and sit back and do nothing. You are being asked to actually engage with your life in a way that moves the needle forward, in a way that makes change. And that is the fog clearing. And those are two really like basic examples, okay? This could be anything in your life. It could be a belief. It could be old trauma you need to deal with. It could be lots of different things. There's a lot of nuance here. But the point is that the energy is going to pressure you and ask you to remove the illusion from whatever it is that you are holding on to. Okay, and so where that brings us to is that as that happens, the inner reaction that your ego is going to have is to all of a sudden lose hope around the future or start to doubt what you thought your life was going to look like. Because when you start to remove those illusions, when you start to remove this idea that, this was the relationship that was the end all be all, or, this was the place you were always going to live, or this was the career you were always going to have, or, whatever it is. Again, be flexible with the topic. If the universe is pressuring you to remove the illusions, to clear the fog, and come face to face with the energetic truth, your ego mind is going to feel like it's losing a dream. Your ego mind is going to feel like you are losing hope. And I want you to understand, I want to encourage you that this is a temporary transitional emotion. If you are feeling this way right now, I want you to understand that this is not a definition of what your future holds. If you feel like your future looks really dim, or that you hold a lot of doubt around what's possible or what's coming, that doesn't mean that it's true. It means that you are shifting out of an energy of illusion and into an energy of clarity. And you are being asked to let go of the old way of thinking, which your ego is going to see as a loss. But your soul sees this and knows it is a win and a step in the right direction. But sometimes the ride is bumpy. Okay, on top of that, and remember, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm just kind of skimming the surface. Although it's one of my big goals for 2026 is to really start to understand astrology on a deeper level so that I can communicate all of this better when I'm discussing these topics. But we also have Saturn in Pisces, which emphasizes like emotional honesty and grounding and integration of your past experiences and your past lessons. Okay, it encourages discernment. Like Pisces is like this dreamy kind of like floaty energy, and Saturn in Pisces is really asking you to kind of bring structure to your dreams and your wants, to align with reality without killing your creativity or your imagination or your big dreams. It's not saying, quote unquote, be realistic, okay? Those are my least favorite words. It's saying, let's add structure to where you are headed and what you want in your life. Let's engage with where you want to go. And this energy is strongest from late December through February. So right now in January is the strongest period of this particular energy. And so again, like I've been talking about this ball starting to roll, this is when internal alignment and subtle action start to weave together, start to move the dream forward. Even if your motivation feels low, because remember, it's still January. And January every single year is a time of like inner reflection and rest, right? It's the middle of winter. It is not the astrological new year, which is in the spring. It's still the dead of winter. So even though our calendar changed to the new year and it is a time to like reflect and start thinking about what's coming, it's not necessarily like go time unless you feel like it is. If you have the energy and you feel motivated, by all means it is your time. But if you are like, okay, well, this sounds great, but I am so unmotivated right now, that's okay. It is January, it is winter, and really you should follow what feels natural to you right now in terms of how to deal with this energy. This episode is mainly to encourage you that if you are feeling a lot of doubt in the future, that there is a reason for that and that it's temporary and it's for the long-term good. So even if you feel like you have low motivation to do the work, regardless, the underlying energy is nudging us as a collective to start laying the foundation for our visions, for our future, and for what we want next in our lives. Okay? This is a very practical episode in terms of this part of the year. The energy right now in 2026, as we start this year off, is really teaching us how to hope effectively. Again, we're letting go of all the illusions that we had around visions or what we want in our futures that was not aligned or not energetically accurate. We are being taught collectively that dreams are not like a fantasy that we have to abandon, but what they are is an energy that has to be integrated with our reality and integrated with conscious action. Because for a long time as a collective, we have sat back and we have held on to these goals and these dreams. And even if we've taken forward motion towards them, many of us have held on to these false illusions or honestly just misunderstandings about how to pursue these in an aligned way. That's what is shifting right now. And again, as the illusions are stripped away, it leaves us feeling the gap between who we were with the illusion versus who we are without it. And when that illusion gets removed, we feel hopeless for a second. It's like pulling the rug out from under us where we go, whoa, I thought I knew where I wanted to go. I thought I knew what was happening. I thought I knew how things worked. I thought I knew all of this stuff about my future. And now I don't know how to feel. I'm feeling a lot of doubt. I don't know, is this where I want to go? Or is this ever going to work? Am I stuck here forever? Is this worth my time? Is this serving me? The spiritual purpose of this energy is to strengthen your hope through aligned effort rather than like passive wishing or unaligned effort. Because when we are pursuing action from an aligned place, from a grounded place, the results are stronger and they're more expansive and they're more sustainable. They are more supported energetically. Okay, so aligned action, which we can now really participate in well because we have a better understanding. Okay, and that's the underlying part, right? You might not even know that's going on. Underneath the surface of your awareness is where the clarity might be taking place. Like maybe you don't even realize consciously that it's happening. You may or you may not. But whether or not you recognize the process that's happening, you're going to end up with more clarity about what to do, how to do it, where you're going, and what is most aligned for you. But you might not feel all of those things yet. You may still be in the gap. Okay, and for many of us, the universe is nudging us to become co-creators of our futures rather than passive spectators. So rather than just wishing and waiting and hoping and maybe taking a little bit of action here and a little bit of action there, the universe is stripping away the illusions and asking us to be co-creators, to actually take the aligned action. Because there's a lot of misconception, I think, especially with things like manifestation, where it has given us this false illusion. Again, with the illusions, it's given us a false illusion of how things come into our lives. These things don't manifest into our lives without effort, not burnout, not hustle, but effort, engagement, action. Okay? That action could be inner work that causes us to make different types of decisions. That process could be outer work where we create something that feels really aligned, where we were kind of sitting back and not really taking it seriously before. It could be ending a relationship or actively seeking out a new one, whether that is romantic, whether that's a friendship, whatever it is. It could be taking effort towards a new career. Maybe it's attending a conference. Maybe it's hiring a coach. Maybe it's hiring a new type of therapist or practitioner that you haven't seen before. Don't let my suggestions box you in here. This could be anything. But all of those are going to be examples of aligned action. And so the collective is being asked now to have discernment. We are being asked to move from like waiting for magical solutions to beginning the process of manifestation with action. And again, it doesn't mean you have to go gung-ho with action in January. Maybe you just start internally evaluating what you want next. Maybe you start writing out plans. Maybe you just start thinking about what else you need to heal. Okay, and it's a little bit tricky. It's going to be different for everybody because January naturally and normally, not in 2026, is a slow, low energy month. It's after the holidays. It's rest focused, but we're kind of at this weird energy juxtaposition, for lack of a better term, where you have this like slow January energy, but it's conflicting with this like Pluto Saturn energy, which is kind of pushing us to find clarity and to take action. And so it might feel, again, everybody's different, different personalities, different things going on in our lives. So this is never, ever, ever, ever a blanket statement. But for many of us, you may be feeling like internally you feel like action needs to take place, or you want to gain clarity, or you want to do something aligned. But internally, or I guess externally, you feel very low motivation. You feel tired. You feel like you want to rest. You feel like you want to curl up. It's maybe cold outside or cloudy outside or whatever. And so I want to say, whatever you're feeling is okay. If you're feeling low motivation, but you're also still feeling that push to, move towards clarity and alignment, just write lists, journal. Think about what you want this year. Think about what you want to do next. You don't actually have to do anything right now. What you do need to know is that this is the year of action. January doesn't have to be the month you just take all the action. You have the whole year to bring this into fruition. And now you are supported by the energy, by the astrological energy, by the collective energy. You will be supported this year in bringing those things into reality. where in the past, that same energy did not exist in the same way. This year, it will be much easier to manifest the things that you are wanting for your life. But it's okay if you're feeling low motivation in January. If you're feeling the forward movement, then take it. I've noticed already, we're only a week into January, but I've noticed that some days I'm exhausted and I want to rest all day. And other days I'm really motivated. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to plan for my future. I'm going to write this on the calendar, like whatever it is, and that's okay. Take it day by day. But my point is that the tension here is normal. January is asking you for reflection and integration like it does with typical January energy, but the astrological shifts are kind of pushing you for subtle, foundational, aligned action. Okay, so if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling restless, if you're feeling flat, that is the collective pattern right now. That is not a sign that you are not doing enough. It's not a sign of failure. It's okay. In fact, that slow energy actually creates an ideal condition for internal groundwork. Like I said, use that time to go inward, plan, organize, start laying down the tracks without needing to push yourself through output, okay? This is a good time to remind you that I do offer psychic readings specifically for this purpose. If you are someone who needs clarity around a certain topic, if you are feeling like you're juggling, different ideas or different plans, different visions, or you're not sure what path to take, or you're not sure, if you're headed in the right direction, or you have questions, whatever it is, that is what I help people do in the personal psychic readings. My expertise involves tuning into your guides and your higher self to understand your soul contract purpose, what you are here to do, what you need to learn right now, or what you need to work on, and whatever else that you are interested in knowing, okay? If you don't have questions like that and you just want to stay accountable with the work that you're doing and where you're headed and stay on track and stay aligned, come join the membership where we talk about this stuff every single month. And we do group psychic meetings. And we talk about all these types of topics that many of us are experiencing and learning at the same time. Because I can almost guarantee you that whatever you are experiencing, someone else is also experiencing in either the same or a very similar way, or can understand or can relate. And it's really helpful to have a group of people to walk through that with who understand you. Okay, so the monthly membership, the psychic readings, it's all listed in the show notes. But that is what this podcast is about, is not just talking about these topics here, but actually internalizing them, bringing them home, connecting with each other around these topics so that forward movement is actually established. So again, lately I'm just really focusing on here's what we're all going through, because the energy is so intense right now. There's so much transformation happening. There's so much up level happening that you might look around you and go, it doesn't feel like anybody else is going through this. There's a few things that might be happening. Maybe other people around you are suppressing it. Maybe they are dealing with it privately. Maybe they are avoiding dealing with it at all. Maybe it's happening subconsciously in a much more subtle way than you are when you engage with it consciously. Okay, but it doesn't mean that no one else is struggling. It just means that you may not know what's going on in everybody else's mind. Also, important to remember, everybody has a different path in life. Everybody has a different contract. Everybody has a different soul path, lessons to learn, goals to achieve. Okay, so maybe you're going through a huge transformation where you're about to make a really big change in your life. And there may be other people who just make really subtle changes. And in this lifetime, they're not meant to do anything really big or transformative. And so maybe the energies that they are feeling right now are much more subtle, maybe not as intense as yours. I want to say this, the more intensely you are feeling this energy, the more likely you are to be manifesting something really big and transformative in your life. Okay, so just some encouragement for people who might be really feeling it right now. Okay, so moving forward in January, here are some good questions that you might want to just reflect on or write down or ask yourself as we look ahead into the year, because these are the types of questions that the energy is going to be urging you to find clarity on. Okay, so I will add these questions to the show notes, but these are questions that are going to be really good to just help get your thoughts stirring, get your thoughts moving, and help you really, again, gain clarity about where you're going this year. Okay? What do I want my relationships to look like this year? Is there anything that I need to change or do differently? Is there boundaries you need to set? Is there relationships you need to end? Or maybe you need to, go put yourself out there more to meet new people. Maybe you need to heal a broken relationship with someone. What do you need to do to align yourself with the energy that you want in your relationships? Am I engaged in things that bring me joy and fulfillment? Am I aligned with things that give me purpose and belonging? And if not, what might that be? So this could be a career path. It could also just be like a fulfilling hobby. It could be a literal life purpose. It can be as big or as small as you want it to be. But do you have something that brings you joy and fulfillment, that makes you feel purposeful, that makes you feel like you belong? That makes you feel like you are using your gifts in a way that feels meaningful to you, okay? Write that down. Write down what those things or what that thing is for you and how you're engaging with it. Am I taking action towards what I want in my life? Not the bare minimum, but engaging in tasks that will actually move me towards where I want to be, actually move the needle. And if not, what would those things be? So wherever it is, say you want to move to a new country in your life. Say you want to start a new business. Say you want to really develop your psychic abilities or become a certified energy healer or whatever it is. What are you doing this year? It doesn't have to be right this instant, but what are you doing to take action towards what you want? Not the bare minimum, not like, okay, I'll do these basics, but what will actually move the needle forward? What will actually help you engaged in an aligned way? Again, we're not hustling. We're not burning out. We are deciding what actions really feel aligned to me and then taking those actions one step at a time, okay? What does the happiest and healthiest, most aligned version of me look like? Future me, happiest me, the me who has the most fulfilling life, the life that I picture in the future. What do they look like? What do they do every day? How do they feel? What work have they already done? That's a really powerful visual, okay? What illusions am I still hanging on to that might be holding me back? Where is the universe asking me to embrace truth and clarity? Is it an illusion around my self-worth or what I do or don't deserve? Is it an illusion that something will just come to me with no effort of my own? Is it an illusion that everything in life is just going to be easy? Or is it an illusion that everything's going to be hard and that nothing good will ever come to you? Is it an illusion of thinking that you have to live the same way forever or that you have to put up with something forever? Is it an illusion that you're stuck? Okay? The universe is nudging you to face energetic reality, not being realistic in a human way, energetic reality from a spiritual perspective. Okay, and last question. If I had to pick one area of my life that I feel like this episode applies to most, what would it be? And what sort of action do I feel like I should take in that area? Okay, so this episode is really blending a lot of practicality and action with the underlying spiritual energy. Okay, because this is the year, again, 2026, year of the fire horse, like the year of action, the year of forward motion, the new beginnings, all of that. This is the year where we start taking our lessons, where we start taking our understandings, start taking our gifts, and we start putting them into motion. But it would be a mistake to think that the ball is going to start rolling without you. You are the one pushing the ball, okay? You're doing it in a way that is healthy, in a way where you're still getting rest, where you're not burning out, but you are engaging by moving the ball forward. Does that make sense? So again, I know we're doing a lot of episodes right now around like the current energy and all of that. So I hope that this is helpful for you. But let me know, send me an email. I would love your feedback on kind of where you are with these episodes right now. Is it helpful to understand the transformative energy that we are moving through in this particular part of the year? Or do you feel like this doesn't relate to you at all and you're really more interested in the one-off topics that are more evergreen? I would love to get your feedback. You can always email me at daremetoprosper@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on any episode if you're listening on Spotify, but the door is always open for comments and feedback. So again, thank you for listening. I appreciate you so much. I hope that you found this episode helpful, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.